PMWC title, because of course from their previous one they have their champion ancient charm set. Make sure that you guys are joining in with the PMWC event in game and redeem your perk vouchers so that you can get that ancient charm set and have a great time looking that good.
Yeah, it is a beautiful outfit to have as well. It looked amazing in person when we saw them come out a couple of days ago back during the start of the group stage. Right, we're going to see them live in the flesh with the rendition of the outfit they had. It looked great. Cultural heritage is well tied into it, so a lot of storylines there with what they've achieved. But that's the fact. That's now in the past, right? Like you say, it's to do it again. It's going to be worst case scenario. You come back here, you slip into survival stage. Yes, you still have a chance, but they want to push for finals at a bare minimum. Yeah,
absolutely. There are plenty of teams who are looking to do that. Alpha 7 probably the most notable of those names in and amongst it. They're the only team in the world, the only organization that has got the full three-peat of titles, the PMGO, PMWC, and PMG, those drums as well in the finals.
Yeah, you will. You'll be hearing it for the viewers at home, absolutely. Bring a lot of support behind them. We saw obviously the big game that they took back in their group stage to at least give themselves a nice influx of points to guarantee survival stage, not be down in the risky areas. I'd say mechanically they've looked good, John. It's just not been an easy run for them whatsoever. There's been not much luck on their side in terms of the circles we've had, the games they've had played. They really had to fight tooth or nail to get in. Now obviously it's a matter of can they elevate that even further.
Yeah, keep on pushing, keep on going. Plenty of power from Brazil. Plenty of players looking to try and make their mark. All of those keys lined up around the Crusher. You see the team logos sat upon them right on the precipice of getting crushed, going into the fated jaws of demise. You can't dance your way out of that one.
You can't. It would have to be an unreal Samba to avoid the Crusher. I'm sure Barney would catch you either way. That seems like it's enough for us. We'll start to get our engines revving and slip into this one. Obviously opening it up on Rondo. I suppose it's a matter of what sort of flavor do you think we're going to get out of this, John? Obviously, you think teams are just going to take this in their stride, instantly go into Rondo headstrong, see if they can just sort of bully the lobby early?
Well, I mean, we saw that happen before, and it wasn't quite enough, right? Obviously, the E-Arena chicken dinner being so massive, you do need to keep going beyond it. Sure, you can get these early hot drop scenarios, and I'm expecting most teams will do, be jumping straight in onto Neox Factory and trying to get stuck in and amongst it, grab as many points early as you can with those recall towers in action for Rondo exclusively on our esports rotation. But I'm also interested in who's going to be able to secure some of the ground around this one, because I feel like, you know, top 6 is maybe not as difficult as it has been in those group stages, right? When you remove the top 10 teams from the lobby, it opens up a lot of opportunity for teams that were maybe suppressed by the presence of those truly really strong and on form teams, because there are obviously strong teams that weren't on form, that didn't make it. But there's no longer that suppressive force. It's not as constricted. So hopefully we'll see teams start to find their feet, start to be able to breathe a little bit, get some life back into the blood.
I've turned you up in my ears already, John, so I can already hear the Alpha 7 fans starting to get a little bit excited. I know how today's going to go. They're going to really bring that energy early, see if they can get the squad locked in and bring in their best. I think you touched on some nice points there, though, man, where maybe it's going to be at a different teams we've removed, right? Obviously, some of them hard cut from the tournament. We saw those keys already destroyed. But for the others that remain, this is your chance to get back into it. We've got the playing path on screen now. We'll see what our circle's looking like and begin to dissect this one.
Yeah, Yulin will be the hot drop target with the playing path out on the west side instead of Neox Factory. It's a little bit too far afield to really get stuck in. So, straight on board, we're with AGAL, E-Arena, who have got that outpost in Mormon up towards Stadium. Looking like they're not going to have the better end of the stick on this first engagement. Tony K going down. XZZ wants to find another with a pump action. Jump wide with a micro Uzi, though. And a Tommy gun to back it up. 2 for 2. And Maple now, as a solo position for AGAL, has to try and hold his nerve against the 2 from the arena, but they are both very low, Jackie.
Yeah, they really are. A lot of damage done to either side here, obviously, hoping to see if you can pick pieces together. If they can close out on this and get the next 2 elims off the back of it, it'd be huge for AGAL. That's a nice react. Maple swift with the SMG up close. Schweppes trying to tuck in and get himself top back up on the old HP as well. Maple's got the 1 nade, John.
He pulled the pin earlier, and that was what prompted the push forwards. Joker unlikely to be getting back up here. Swaps out for a sniper in close range. I mean, sniper's as good as a shotgun if you hit the shot, but will he be able to do it? Running low on ammo, desperately searching for these weapons now. Still just the smoke here. And I think this fight might be isolated. Both teams will be able to get these recalls, remember. These points are starting to come through thick and fast. It looks like Yangon Galacticos have got 3, Goat with 3, Maple with a shotgun now as we're back on with the fight.
Maple baiting it on the pre-fire towards the window. Schweppes with a lean in. Quick opportunity to stim whilst the rest of the lobby are scrapping amongst each other. Rapid looting from Schweppes, needs the ammunition to fight with. They get visual on one another. Maple's going to be swung to the left right now. He's been poising himself nicely, but the angle's not going to work, and Schweppes does get it done.
Hey, Schweppes is the only player in this tournament with a chance to get a triple Pmgc title, and there he was showing a little bit of that power of old. We'll see if he can bring E-Arena to the forefront, because they are up on 3 elims, but there is so much on the tables already. Look how many players have scored. They move on through. And Tiamba want to take that 3 elim title as well. We now have 6 teams with 3 elims.
Yeah, we missed out on the GOAT fight off the back of the drop. That was up against KRX, I believe, and they did great work on that, finding themselves the 3 elims and leaving it down to 1 player to attempt to recover them. Weird thing is about GOAT team, John, usually in our regular rotation, it feels like they're super good at playing it slow with the long rotates around the outer edges. Rondo, they love a scrap. They've got the talent for it. We see 1 knock here onto Foops, but Ketch can't flush it, as they will have to lock in for this one. Force up close and personal. Scarface over the top side, downs him.
Okay, keep it 2 on the spot as well for Ulf. They do have Kelsey off in the distance, so would be fine. Well, not fine, but it would be okay if Scarface had gone down in that scenario. But to hold his nerve is brilliant. Means he can get in and maybe get a couple more points. Look for the confirm onto Foops, man, but it's not going to work. Not on the first peak. Killer Joe has to hit the back, but without a helmet, those headshots are going to ring mightily in the ears if they're able to land. Dropping the smoke, keeping the power. Has still got another smoke behind him. Some more meds, but it's not going to matter. Killer Joe puts him down. So Ulf recall further up to the north with the circle throwing out that way too. We're on board with Alpha 7 now.
Yeah, A7 coming in swift. Ooh, good damage done onto QZZ here, trying to keep Tiamba down. Make it uncomfortable on the peak. Awkward pixel angle. Can't quite thread the needle with it. Milu wrapping over to assist as Guizao does get aggro. Good moves on the peak, but that was swift.
Straight past that windowsill and in with the shotgun shells. Alpha 7 get dismantled by Milu. What a pullout for Tiamba, able to just swing past that entire fight. Alpha 7 do have that outpost and can go for the recall. Teams are starting to outstrip each other on these elim counts, but Tiamba on 6 elims. GOAT team as well, getting those 6 on board is a great start for them. Looking to start transitioning now into the mid game, get up north, because the circle is quite dramatic up there. A lot of it is cut off by that river, and the crossings are not as easy as on other maps.
Yeah, that was the thing. We didn't quite catch it right. Obviously going from that very southern sort of plane path we had into a hard northern shift on the circle. A lot of teams can have a big rotate here. We'll see if it comes back to bite some of our squads that would prefer to be set up a little bit earlier.
Furia looking to get out of Yulin towards that north side. Geek have already sent out and that away from it as well. Goodness me. Everyone is still alive, and that is very lucky, Jackie. That is incredibly lucky. And if you guys want to be lucky at home, you can hit that lucky spin. Make sure you're jumping into the game for your chance to draw that exclusive 2026 Pmgc tournament set. It's looking nice, it's looking shiny, it's looking fresh.
It is indeed. It's like a Barney Banks outfit. You'd catch him wearing that one.
I've seen him. He definitely would. Maybe we could get it sorted for the finals. I bet we can. I bet we can.
Maybe. Would reinforce the leg seams, make sure that he's nice and comfortable out on the stage. But we'll see, John. We'll come back to that one at another time. RRQ on the move as well there. Obviously, a roster, it felt like at times they had some good sort of approach to a few of the fights we saw. Maybe a little bit more paralysis by analysis in a few of the situations, though, right? We want to be slightly more cutthroat. I suppose that is the name of the game for all the squads we've got in survival stage, but I think that resonates with them as well.
Yeah, for RRQ, I mean, they do have a standout performance in terms of Lepar, definitely on point when it comes to getting in those clutch situations, making it work, and to an extent, he's the reason why RRQ were able to get in towards these survival stages. But they do need to be more cohesive, more together and fluid in those fights. Hopefully, they can play off one another a little bit better here. Looks like, oh, we might see an elim that may well stick as Geek do have one of their players taken down, and Pmgc are all around Alpha 7 and E-Arena, so it could be a little bit difficult to get to one of those recall towers, even though they are still fairly available. I mean, you've got Ryan that is completely unoccupied. You've got Kunxia up on that northeast side as well. So there are accessible positions, but those will start to get more closed in as teams move in. I mean, we've got Yangon Galacticos, who are on board with right now, moving past Meiran, with Goat Team on their west and Al-Ula are quite far to their south. Ahead of them, though, it's the Wolves, who have managed to get up to Heme Town, up on that northeast side, fairly swiftly and without too much trouble.
Some replays here of the early fights. Obviously, Yangon getting a far better start. 3 elims there. Nice to see for the squad. Again, so much more pressure on your shoulders, right? It's all the added pedantry as well, having to come out bringing the trophy twice now. It feels like all the other squads you're playing against, all eyes on you. If you can't do your organization justice, and for yourself as well, those memories of last year probably flashing before your eyes, John, when you're back at the hotel. You know they need to show up here in survival.
Next circle goes quite far west here. I mean, this is a good opportunity for E-Arena to get into a solid spot. They're already on the north side of this river. The crossings that I said can be a little bit more treacherous than keep this 2-2, or do they regroup over towards a more centralized and coherent position? I feel like they still have a little bit of time to do that, so they may want to try and stay out in the open for a little bit, but within the next minute or so, they will need to regroup. Yangon Galacticos able to find a player from Kiwon DRX, and yeah, very nice pickup there. 4 elims now for Yangon, although they did lose SayCloud in the process, so a 1-for-1 trade. And as I said before, the recall towers are still open, but from this point on, it's going to get harder and harder to access them, Jackie, because the blue zone will start to cut off quite a lot of them, the rotates won't be there, and teams will be on top of them already.
Yeah, you lose that availability. Makes it far harder to weigh up the decision-making if it's worth attempting to go for it. So we'll see if that plays too much of a vital role for these squads as this one develops. Obviously, KRX had a bit of an unfortunate start off the drop as well. Went down to the 1 solo that was offset for the recall. That worked out to get them back up, but only 1 elim point to their name at this point. They are able to safely get SayCloud back into the action, though, on their wrap. So they're going to be all right with that. Is he going to be caught by the Wolves, though? Dropping back in right now, they're both going to have to advance, obviously, outside of blue. Not going to be doing too much damage right now, John. So maybe they can avoid each other. I
don't think that Wolves would commit to go for the player on the parachute. They should know that there is a team to their south. Sure, that would be an indicator that someone has just recalled there. But given that it was only 1 player dropping down, you're fairly certain that it's a full 3 squad already on the ground. Committing to that fight for Wolves in their position right now, I think is a little bit too much of a risk. And they weren't really in position to get the player on the way down already. But Yangon Galacticos have other ideas. They have just crossed swords and taken a knock over to the Wolves.
Yeah, I guess it goes both ways. Wolves didn't want to engage, but Yangon said, you know what, if you're here, we might as well try and get some points. Put some warning shots their way, don't necessarily need to commit onto the fight, just get a couple and get out, or, hey, maybe actually just grab the whole squad. Romeo's back in for more.
Yeah, they were able to find that flush, and they're immediately across the bridges around Muhopan on that north side, and potentially looking to guard the Wolves out here and stop them from getting to a recall tower closer to the zone. It will start to hurt a little bit too much for the Wolves' liking if they don't get through quickly, and the northern pair for Yangon Galacticos is going to send out and maybe look to control that recall tower on the north side.
This is nice, actually, with how they've been playing it. SayCloud was able to safely get himself a vehicle as well, join the rest of the squad. You can see where they're repositioning to right now. Like you say, be in a good position to swarm effectively all angles towards that recall. If Wolves come up to it, they could catch them.
Okay, the circle's on the north side as well, so pretty important to get a position up on that north edge. As I said before, E-Arena now in a very commanding position, and maybe Rondo's their map, who knows. They haven't managed to get a huge number of elims early on, but then again, they didn't when they were in their stadium chicken dinner either. They have already got 4 as well, which, as I said, not huge, but still pretty significant. Ryan, having that recall tower in and available for the next about 4 minutes or so is also going to be quite important for the teams on the north side, as Yangon Galacticos trying to corral the Wolves against them. But the north side is going to get more and more packed, so Yangon Galacticos taking a bit of a risk here to try and make that fight work, to try and hold this one out. They are losing time, losing tempo to get towards the zone.
Yeah, investing a lot into this now. At a certain point, it becomes a matter of cutting your losses. in the downtime amongst that conversation as well. We saw Alpha 7 actually go down to a duo. Thankfully, they've got one of their players back up. The other not so lucky yet. That was this encounter versus Nongshim Red Force. A side that's surprisingly powerful when they're feeling confident. Ravo out of the running already, John. Shot at the back of the vehicle on the exit. Not ideal.
No, and it's very difficult now to get to a recall tower. There is one to their northwest. They might try and break for it, but Nongshim, I think, have read into that and have moved two of their players out towards it as well. For Alpha 7, it feels like a 3-play on. And I don't think they're going to be able to go for it. Ulf have got two of their players right behind this ridgeline as well. The backstop 2 for Ulf, Ketch and Kalsi, have yet to cross by Stadium, but it seems like with Nongshim Red Force on the move, they can just get gone. Wolves do manage to move all the way over on the north side of Yangon Galacticos, and Goat Team are now going to bear the brunt of the aggression from the defending champions.
Yeah, didn't expect this one. Goat, they were quite far back towards KRX's position, but they've wrapped up towards the northern side, got stuck into Yangon. Already been able to knock out one player from the squad, leaving them with a triple threat. Yangon actually doing pretty good work here, right? Coming out tied in first place between 3 other squads, and Tiamba and Goat, the squad they're head-to-head with here in the fight. So cleaning up on this one would be huge for them.
Ooh, looking to do a little bit more damage, but they'll be content with the first knock, and they do have their backs to the blue, so need to be careful. The zone is going to hurt pretty significantly here, especially as stage 4 starts to come on through. It's going to be unresable, so you have to get on the road. Al-Ula taking shots from an off angle. They're a team that hasn't crossed the river yet, hasn't made their way through, but is going to try and put pressure on the back lines. For Yangon, they're going to have to play on as 3 now with that knock coming through. I was looking at where Tiamba as well were playing, given, as you said, they were in that top 3. They are in a really sticky spot on the south side for Tiamba. I think their fight through is going to be maybe the hardest at the moment in the lobby. We'll have to wait and see if they're able to make it work as Yangon Galacticos get out of there, get into the next zone, and they wait for this next circle.
Yeah, Go bailed on the fight. You can see them pulling back down towards the south side. Dopeness caught line of sight from the ridge as well onto Yangon, and it's Al-Ula that are coming up around the back. That's the shift on the zone, though, pulling away, going back down south. Oof. All right, mate. Fair bit of water as well, cutting off a lot of the play space you've actually got the longer this one goes, John.
Yeah, I was looking at Tiamba, as I said before, and I feel like this is seemingly what I kind of thinking they should be doing here. Moving over to the south coast, may be able to swim across later on, but a lot of teams that have already committed to the north side are going to be fighting for the hills around that E-Arena Ulf position where Goat have just moved on into. This is going to be the focus for so many teams. So I feel like Tiamba, they're looking to play for a 3rd place, but they have taken a knock on the back there. And this rotation is under threat, under danger. Eren is waiting for someone else to step forward to say, I've got the shot, before they go for that spray. But Tiamba, if they could find cover on that south coastline, I feel like they might have a chance of getting fairly deep into this one.
A lot of movement as well. Yangon trying to advance quite quickly. It was AGAL that had angles onto him. Unfortunately for Eagle, going down to the zone has resulted in his demise, so he's cut out of the lobby. Maple also hit from the sideline. Dopeness very far back, but with good line of sight onto them. So they're just peppering to make it uncomfortable for these squads. Goat might be tested by the wraparound from Al-Ula as well, John. This is heating up now.
Yeah, a lot of teams crunching in. AGAL on the north side will have to face off against Dopeness, as you said. Yangon just beyond them, and they are now within nade range. As we get a little replay from... Oh, he's knocked himself with the deployable cover flare there. That is not good news for the Wolves. That's going to slow them down a little bit on the replay. I missed that one, but there we go. Sometimes it happens. It is a danger. And he's going to get run down as well.
Oh,
the front
perfect,
bumper to take him out. The Wolves are going to chime back in, though, with look at the damage pouring in on the Elim feed there. Goodness me, the Wolves want vengeance.
Yeah, this is getting messy, John. You had this back and forth game of nade badminton going on. I thought they were able to thread it through the window, but it's a near miss. The Flower H stays alive, and that's at the detriment of Yangon.
View. Nade over the top. Trying to get the distance, but not quite there. And this is the difficulty. They can't really take fights on 2 fronts, and Lufa able to expose one angle against AGAL. And now he moves forwards with a shotgun in hand. XZZ wants to find an answer, doesn't get the full knock, has the shotgun, but he's on a sliver of HP now, and another nade. might just be all is needed. The healing desperately important for them. Across the road is Romeo now on his last legs, and AGAL are suffering.
Dopeness have pushed up hard from the backside as well and got into a good position to command respect on what they've realized is now two very weak squads. So if they can steal away points, it'll be magnificent for them. Smile falls for Yangon as well, leaving them with only one solo player left alive in a horrific position to attempt to defend. Fury are going out, joining 721 GS, so two squads now gone.
They are out of there already. We're down to 14. Those recall towers shut off, meaning no players can jump back into the fight. More deployable cover. Don't look, Wolves, don't look. It's fine, it's not on top of you. You'll be okay. They managed to get all the way out to the west side there. They had a tricky approach, and they're showing the scars of it as well, playing now on as two players alive. This east side will be chill for about the next 30 seconds, maybe, once RRQ settle themselves down and lose their player on the east edge. But with this circle, it's gonna have to get trickier again. This has been so nasty for the teams out in the east to be able to make their way through. They have been on the brunt of these circle shifts.
Non-ship getting a bit of a look down towards the road. Meanwhile, amongst all this, we've seen another play coming out from Goat. Killer Joe loves these early scraps. We've seen him be a bit of an explosive entry for the team. If he can open up a potential play onto his squad, he'll go for it every time. 4 elims just tied to him. They did lose out on Foops, man. There's a nice back and forth between Foops and Killer.
One of those spots, and here's the place to do it. Another knock over the top from a nade from Goat. Doing damage, suffering across a lot of different teams right now with nades flying back and forth. A close proximity engagement is not favorable. Arena were under pressure from Dopeness, but they handled it. Seems like they're doing okay. Mormon does get flushed away though, and hang on a minute, Arena may not be able to handle the pressure because Goat and AGAL looking to rock up all at the same time. 4 teams now on spot, and Dopeness up on high, taking shots, laying down the lead.
Oh, mate, sweating bullets on the push-in. Panic stations, and they just can't compose themselves to slay the Goat. Thankfully, Pmgc with the sacrificial nade bounces it out the window and hits that one on top of Moxie to leave them down with only a duo in position to attempt to fight here. Awkward collection of players all amongst each other.
Nade, cooking. Doesn't quite know where these players are, and I don't blame him. The amount of chaos that just happened. 2 teams descending immediately just after another one crashed on through. On the southwest side, in the meantime, Alpha 7 do go down to Geek. That southwest side is clean. Spiker moving on out. Spiker around the corner. And Goat will be able to hold him for 1. Moxie down, but will be resable.
Dangerous scenes though, E-Arena. They can smother blood in the water. They'll commit on the peak, spam into the smoke. They had a rough idea of the angle, and the bullets will find their target. Amongst all this, Alula have been scrapping up against Ulf.
Anymore. Tiamba did manage to get across the river. In the meantime as well, Jackie, and they're on 8 elims. They've got 3 players alive. They're not looking too shabby right now. And they have an oversight onto this fight. If they can spot Alola on this roll-up, Eren may be able to take 1 or 2 of them down, and they may be able to shred the backlines, but it's getting away from them. The pace of Alola just a little bit too much for them.
I think that pace is the operative term as well, right? We've seen them be quite passive in situations where they have had advantages before back in the group stage, and that was a problem for them. So the fact here they're willing to actually take some of these encounters a bit more headstrong, it's good to see. Zone crunching in there again as well.
Okay, on top of the Wolves. They're on the north side with their 2 players remaining. As the early powerhouses of the Elim feed starting to wane now. Yangon Galacticos go not quite going to stay the course. But Tiamba have a big opportunity here on that south side if they can push past Eren, get control of the hilltops. But it's Alola, their major competitor on that southeast side.
Tiamba starting their swimtation as well, inside of the water.
Ooh.
They get vision.
Ooh, nice little assist, and there's the off angle, QZ.
QZZ. Milu responds again. That fight does continue between the two sides, taking casualties amongst each other, whilst Alula are fighting E-Arena from range.
Bit of trouble. Geek are low. They don't really have the sightlines. This is an opportunity for Tiamba to actually move forwards and maybe look for the res, but it's still such a risk. I don't think they're going to go for it here, Jackie.
Have all the information they need to make the call. Meanwhile, though, Alula going big on the peak. Wolves thought they were safe, thought they had an opportunity to third party steal some elims from across the game here, but no, Alula rock up onto them. 8 elims, John, playing very differently right now.
Yeah, that's what you need to be doing here with those 8 elims, with all 4 of their players alive, the only team to have the full squad in action. This is the last chance, as we're on board with Tiamba, to get this res. I don't think it's going to happen. He will bleed out, so Tiamba playing with 2. That's pretty nasty. They did have an opportunity to move forwards and maybe take more control here. Geek helped out by the zone again as Nongshim Red Force on the north side get cut in across the road from everything. Alula going to have to move, as are E-Arena.
Shots from the side, it's Nongshim. That's easy. Tizzy, good work done with the AUG. Saw the reposition from Tony K, setting up the vehicle, so they'll take the scrap to him. That's a 3-man squad there. Like you say, not a bad position to be in as well, with a shift on the zone. And they clean up, find the follow-up onto Joker. So E-Arena down and out, not the Rondo masterclass that we've seen from them happening here.
No, but 11 points is still very respectable, Jackie. They will be able to put up a good start to proceedings. Guaranteed they're on the front page. The question is, who's going to join them? Shots ring out, continuing to put pressure on Geek. We're struggling to march forwards. Tiamba don't have vehicles to their name. They are really still just waiting on Geek to have to move, and that is the first indicator that they are going for it. They should know that there's only 2 players over there, and Tiamba can start to move forwards now, and I need them to be able to do that, right? Something that we were criticizing them for was being a little bit timid, being a little bit shy, and so now stepping forwards at the right time, that's what they need to be doing, and it looks like that's what Milu's gone for. As the rest of the teams joust across the zone, Alula have to descend on one side of the hill or the other. The question is, which do you choose?
With the zone coming in, Alula on the rocks, being peppered down from Nongshim Red Force. It's keeping them very weak, making it uncomfortable for the hard commit on the wrap, but eventually they've got to push up. Going to be somewhat exposed here as well. If they're aligned in their crosshairs, they could punish. Thankfully, the map geo providing just enough cover for them to tuck in. And Tiamba, you touched on it before. When does that change, that mindset become alive? Because if they don't start to get a bit of a periphery scan on the go here, you could have Alula wrap in around the back, possibly put pressure onto them, just remove them from the equation before they even try and make a move for themselves.
I mean, they really can't move until Ragnarok does either, which is the nasty thing for them. It is causing a lot of problems. They can re-distro ammo for Tiamba, and Alula not going to push too far forwards. They know that the angles from Nongshim are still going to be in action, and they can't afford to overpeak to get a little bit too bold because they have got their numbers advantage, and they don't want to let it go to waste. But an opener onto Tiamba could open up their south rotate, and with the circle pushing towards them, that's going to help out nicely. But Nongshim look to strike to open the door for their crossing of the road and bring Alula back down to 3 with them.
Bated breath for a lot of our players right now, knowing how close they are to potentially kicking off the survival stage with a big point injection if they can take this chicken dinner. Add potentially a few more immolations to it as well. Milu and QZZ still scared about what could be coming out if there's angles watching their way. Nonshin have had a good understanding of the wrap that we saw from Alula as well. So the minute they pop out from behind that rock, there's not really much cover on the rundown.
Some really nice elim counts for a lot of our teams moving forwards. Tiamba getting that res could prove to be crucial. The knock sent towards Alula, allowing them a little bit more mobility. The lack of sightlines from Alula, not quite controlling. And they just lost another one. R3B on the back, really not going to be resable either. This is going to be a very difficult dash, and Nongshim will read into this. They're moving out already to try and control the ground around them and get across the road into some sense of security. But it is so few and far between. Everybody operating in inches right now, Jackie. There is no grander dimension on these really close quarter scenarios. Step one way too far, one step either side, and it's a completely different story. But that is a big pickup on the Nongshim to bring them down to 2 to stop their third player regrouping onto the south.
Every team starting to lose a lot of the battle of attrition here as we get towards the fine margins of this game, like you say. Oh, Kike as well spotted out. Yasser with a reposition. The eyes lighting up for Tiamba, but knowing now the pressure's going to be put on them from Alula on the hillside. Never gets any easier, John.
Using those nades to create potholes moving forward, steps up for the flush. Now Alula can commit to trying to hold this high ground and try and use its position, the geometry, to maybe get a pick, but they're just not quite finding it. They're starting to wane now. There's Nongshim gonna try and bear the brunt of it, but down go Alula, and a knock already over towards Nongshim gives Tiamba a big chance here.
Timid Tiamba no more. They start to play with confidence, knowing that they can take the fight to Nonshin Red Force. The squad that we were surprised was so far down the standings back in the group stage. Let's see if they can kick it off here in survival with a big chicken dinner and assert dominance in the lobby. It's not going to be so easy for Nonshin as the nade blows them away and Tiamba take the opening game of the survival stage.
That is how you change your story. Tiamba with a huge opener. They played from that south side. They read that they couldn't get across that river nice and early. They played on the south coast, a little bit of a bet hedger, but they did manage to get across time, and that is the change I wanted to see. The question will be, can they keep it going for 11 more matches and keep that pace going? Nongshim Red Force as well, really well held on that north side. The angles that they were maintaining, they knew what they were doing, and it brings into what we were saying about the strategic masterclass that we desperately want to see them moving forward. They were again another team in the conversation for top 5 during their group stage. They were pushed aside just about. It was very, very close and in a very, very difficult group for them to try and make it, but nice, solid performance coming through from Nongshim. A lot of the teams that were late into that game had a lot of elims as well, which means that nobody going home in the end did.
Now we can have a bit of a listen in as well and see what they were saying for themselves
बहुत जोर से गाड़ मार दी है Nonshin Red Force
nice and tight with it. Didn't even need to peek through. That earlier knock from Alula onto one of the Nongshim Red Force players as well, immediately before going out. That really was an assist in those final moments, but Tiamba, they kept their heads down when they needed to. We knew they could do that, but they also stepped up when they needed to. So I'm thrilled that they were able to take this first one.
Yeah, no, it's nice to see, right? Because we were saying before, they looked good, at least in terms of how they were approaching some of these games, but I think it was falling off in the sense that they just weren't able to commit necessarily with more of a cutthroat nature, where sometimes you've got to evaluate the risk and really just go for it. Obviously that looks a little bit scary as well, the rotate. We lost Eagle as he went down to the zone, but they still recover. They get it done. It's all Tiamba in game 1, but let's see how it looks in the rest of today.
This ain't no regular thing, came for the ring, you know what I mean. Hi, I'm here down at the stage for Daneborn, the survival stage, with Smile, the handsome man from Yangon Galacticos, to talk about some of the stuff coming into the survival stage as a whole. And that is my first question, actually. Based on your group stage performance and what you were actually able to see in the group stage, now coming into the survival stage, has there been any kind of looks at those results and seen how you might want to change some play styles, etc.? What do you think from the group stage coming into survival?
In the group stage, we couldn't perform well. We couldn't shoot a lot with confidence. So for the survival stage, we will do our best. Yeah, we will play with a lot of confidence, more aggressive. For the strategy, at the same, we play with same strategy, we learn other opponent practice different situations, so we could adapt during the match. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And actually, I wanted to talk bigger picture here for a second, because obviously you guys are the returning champions, and it would be awesome to see you guys get like the back-to-back here in Paris, even though it's a different location. So how did that PMWC win change your life? Obviously for you guys, I remember like looking at the pictures of the parade, you guys got invited to a load of things. So what was it like from the team's perspective?
Honestly, a lot has changed since we won the World Cup last year. It gave us a lot more confidence and recognition. But at the same time, it also brought a lot more expectation and pressure. People started looking at us differently, and we realized that staying at the top is even harder than getting there. But overall, I'm so grateful for everything that came from that history. It motivated us to work even harder and represent our country with pride. Yeah.
That's awesome to hear. Well, thank you very much for joining me here, Smile, and good luck at the survival stage.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, James, for that interview there with Yangon Galacticos. But it's all about Tiambas. We're joined by Hot Jukes, Max, Man, Naptura, and the 7WG here back with you guys for PMWC at EWC 26. Tiamba, Max, they're finally showing up.
QZZ, your let's go. No, I'm really happy to see Tiamba because, not gonna lie, back in their respective group, I was a little bit disappointed because back at PMMI, oh my goodness, they were bringing the heat. I mean, you and me both, Hot Jukes. We were like, this is the QZZ show. And yeah, group stage was a little bit topsy-turvy, but this Rondo, by the way, keep in mind, they got 6 eliminations in the hot drop in Yulin, and then they dropped Tinlong Garden. The circle could not have been any further away from their loot location, and yet they still come out on top and get a win. That is an impressive rotation coming out from all of Tiamba.
Yeah, it's about damn time, baby. We see Tiamba do what we expected them to do all tournament long. Yeah, had a really rough group stage, but they come into this one, 13 eliminations, 2,300 damage, and we expected QGZ to be kind of like on top of that, but it was Milu here that was able to really clutch it up for a squad. And honestly, after a rough group stage, to start off so strong, I think it's gonna finally put them in the form we all expected.
Same with Alula as well, putting up a good amount of eliminations for that squad.
Yeah, it was really nice to see Alula come in. I mean, me and Max, we were all talking about it, be like, ooh, at the end there, you know, they had a really good position. They should have utilized it a lot more because they were having that momentum throughout the mid stage. They were looking really good. They came in, they took over the position from Ulf. They were moving in, great momentum and then all of a sudden they kind of just were like, this is the high ground, we're going to keep it even though the zone pushes us away from it. We're just going to sit still and let everybody else not only see us and get rid of us one by one, but actually get situated and have that time to make those decisions for that endgame.
Ooh la la, a little bit too passive. No, I mean, clearly they took way too long. I think they would have been great to see Al-Ula after their push on Ulf. But by the way, that push Niptura was fantastic. Getting rid of all of Ulf in like literally the span of 20 to 30 seconds. Very quick fight. But then they just let Tiamba coexist with them on the lower side next to the water. I think that was a little bit of a mistake from Al-Ula. I would have loved to see them rock up on their position as they fight GK. That would have been a great third party. But you know what? It's still a 16-point rondo. So Al-Ula Club, sure, it's not the chicken dinner. It's still an amazing start in the survival stage.
Great kickstart for that team. It wasn't a 29 elimination this time out of E-Arena. Neptura ended up getting at least 8.
They do. That was a really nice push from them as well. We saw them do some crazy things. Actually, they were on the east side of the zone, right? So there was a lot of teams over there. So for them to get as many eliminations as they did, I mean, it was just constant fighting from beginning to end for them. You know, them as well as Yangon. I really liked what we saw from Yangon in the beginning of this game. I think it was still a very strong rondo for them, even though they didn't really go very late into the game. I still liked the presence that has seemed to be making a return for them. I'm really enjoying that.
Yeah, we're seeing some changes from this one too.
It seems like they put that extra day off into work with the bot review. One team that I think ended up doing that perfectly was Nongshim, especially with their rotations.
Finally, just committing to a play. Sure, it was not an aggressive play. I think they didn't really have to go for an aggressive play this game. But it's just they see GK in a really good position in the play zone next to that lake in the center of the zone.
Indian team qualify हो गया ना पब्लिक skill 11 कैसा? Thank you so much.
That spot for ourselves, and that gets them so deep in that game. Podium minimum, second place off the back of that Niptura. That is what I wanted to see from NSR.
It is exactly what I wanted to see as well, because we saw in their second day of their group stage, right? They lost that momentum. They were finding the opportunities, but they were just being so slow to actually do anything about them. And that has definitely changed in this game. We saw them actually take those opportunities pretty instantaneously, and that is what we want to see from Nongshim Red Force. We know they can do it. They've done it again, and it is going to be Tiamba being the match MVP, and Milu. Yeah, you were saying, Jukes, he's doing some great stuff.
Let's go, Milu. I mean, I think this is a good example of, you know what, sometimes even if you are a top squad, you don't really come off the way you really want to sometimes, right? But you know what, a day off, I think we saw these squads refresh themselves, really start playing true to form here, and this is what we needed to see. We needed to see this, even there towards the end. Ula had the top ground, but at the same time, Nongshim Red Force and Tiamba were like, we want to win this game. Let's focus all our energy up top, take them out first, and then we'll see who ends up winning first or second place. And that is how you get it done. So good to finally see these squads make it happen. It's only been one game. Come on, let's see some more of that in Erangel. More of that, please.
One game, but we're already getting a little bit more flashes from some of these squads of just consistent inconsistency. And I'm thinking about Alpha 7 because this squad was only able to get 2 eliminations. They need to make sure they pick it up here. One quick little shout out is Go team was able to perform so well in that one, being aggressive, exactly what we expect out of Go. But let's see what teams are going to be bringing it in game 2.
Thanks for setting us up there, Seven. Great desk as always. Very exciting to get the inside, the narratives, and build ourselves back in before another game here. Obviously, survival stage tension much higher. Changing over now from Rondo. Something a little bit more consistent, John. Excited to see what really is going to be, hopefully, a stepping stone for our team throughout the remainder of the day.
Absolutely. I was excited to see Jukes' boots. Those look good, right? Look pretty fresh, man. You know, represent Texas.
You know what they say, everything outside of Texas is smaller in size.
Absolutely, they definitely do. That's what I've heard anyway. The plane path looking pretty big though, from the middle of the map on the south side. Looking to lean a little bit westward, but nice and kind. Opens up most of the map for access, and no one should be getting into any hot drop trouble, but it is a slightly reshuffled lobby, remember. We didn't really talk about drop spots on Rondo because it tends to just be let's all hot drop and then see what happens. But here on Erangel, it's a little bit more prescribed, it's a little bit more over zones, but already 3 teams out over Millie, as well as, well, maybe 4 teams out over military as RRQ jump out a little bit later on. Everybody else, I think, is looking to head further north and get to the mainland. RRQ may be looking for that bridge split on the west, bridge split on the west side.
looks more standard, obviously what we'd expect there from Yangon. They've gone for this quite a few times. Nerigel very comfortable to have those military starts. Similar sort of opening as well for Goat, so no surprises there. You imagine they can split off and wrap away, like you touched on. Rest of the squad's trying to get distance with those parachutes. They've done their training, John. They're A5 guaranteed gliders, so they can get to the mainland.
They got the distance, they got the legs needed to get on their way. Yeah, Goat team also dropping out. They will have diverted away from that. You don't really want to get stuck in, as I said, into those hot drops. Not a good idea, but that is a nasty circle. Goodness me. We were having some pretty nasty circles, very gnarly stuff coming through over in the group stages. Looks like we're going to continue that trend all the way out on the southwest side. Keeping a lot of Gatka, Quarry, that sort of area in, but this is not what you want to see to open things up for a survival stage.
No, we've been here before, you're right. Those group stages, very aggro circles we were getting, and similar story there. A lot of landmass going to be cut off, potential for the bridge to be in play as well. We'll see if that's a blessing for some teams or a haunting prospect for others. Obviously, we're dropping far further up towards the north side. We join the POV of Dopeness early on towards Pmgc. Couple shots out of the window from Makita, getting the read over onto Geekay. Pretty nice game one from them, so if you can punish early and slow down Geekay from actually accumulating point after point, would be the dream scenario.
देखो अब लपालप कार्यक्रम चलने वाला है इन लोगों का दोनों टीम
in response as well, but right now they are north and south split on Pmgc, so not super close to danger. Definitely is disengageable here, depending on the vehicle counts that each team has. And I feel like in Pmgc you cannot get stuck in too far here, especially with a circle like this. You have to look to disengage in these scenarios. The thing that sort of plays on the reverse side of that is that you are competing for the drop spot in the future matches. And a lot of teams find value in saying, you know what, we're not giving up our drop spot. We're just gonna, we're telling you, we'll sacrifice our game in order to maintain this top spot, this drop spot for the next. Well, they've still got 5 aerials after this to play. I could call that into question. I'm not a professional coach, so maybe there's some reads in there, maybe there's some maths to do, but I feel like it's still very, very dangerous, especially on Pmgc, and especially on a plane path like this, where a lot of the map was just super accessible.
Yeah, it's basically down to that individual decision making if they want to fight or not, or really what they're aiming for. I imagine for the viewers at home, you're going to be aiming to get yourself some beautiful skins as well. John, we've got a great event going on right now in game. I know you've been hyped for this one.
Absolutely, the Uzumaki Naruto event. Make sure you're grabbing those character sets, looking fresh with the skins. Looking pretty. Doesn't look like any of our players have the org though, which is unfortunate. Neither team really going to be able to take on the supply truck either, given that they're in a bit of a standoff, which makes things a little bit nastier to play from Pmgc.
Let the tension just settle here. Nade line up through the window. Oh, it's a nice chip, John. Could have been beautiful.
I've managed to catch a little spray on the step across there, but not going to quite get the knock. And it's again just retreating, being a little bit safe. Like you said, deck of cards type play, reshuffle yourselves somewhat, but that is a nice little reshuffle from Ragnarok on the sidelines, able to get the side swipe. And Geekay have got their opener. Now, do they try and take this one fast, or are they going to slow themselves down again? Looks like they want to try and capitalize a second knock. There is no way that again those two players back up. Surely not, as Geekay descend from multiple angles. One is cut across, but it's not going to be the same story for the others.
That's really nice from Kevin. Beautiful predict with the nade. Pops perfectly. Reply back over, easy for Bad Boy cleaning up. So 1 by 1, Dopeness suffering heavy losses on this. It was Makita that took a few pot shots over to the Geekay roster to start it off, and they went, you know what, you want to fight, let's take it.
Let's get it done. 2 players now left for Dopeness. Ulf did manage to rotate over the north side of Pmgc, and because this fight is taking place, it means that the teams in Pmgc, or if there had only been one, the team in Pmgc has not moved out to the west side. For Ulf, this is pretty good news, because it means they have access to a lot of zones that they may not have done before, as well as a third-party angle. Leaving Aaron up on the top of the hill, they could start to slow it down even more, and they're going to have so much information about what has been going on in this this area. Eren doesn't even want to stick around for the flush. He gives up his position, and they're just going to back it off. And Ulf are going to be the ones to take down the supply truck from Pmgc. This is huge for Ulf.
Yeah, this is really nice. Cutting out a lot of that mid-game looting time, getting themselves hopefully some high-tier loot to play with off the back of it. Good comms on it, set themselves up, dump a few magazines simultaneously into the truck and grab your benefits from it. Alongside possibly forcing the hand of these two teams a little bit more as well with the damage done from that high-rise angle. Oh, Kenji, good for one. The double up coming potentially as well as he spams. SafeG trying to peek back into it, shot into the thigh, stays alive. Makita on the wraparound has that molly through the window.
Oh, he tears the player step a little bit too late. Maybe able to swing faster, but it's going to work out. Holding the ground floor now, and GK get a little bit too bold with it. Eren from the off angle rattled them a little bit, and they are starting to shake, starting to show vulnerability. Another big nade from SafeG though puts them in the advantage once more. One player now standing for Dopeness.
Kenji has the Bizon to play with. What can he do? Not too much there. Spams over on the side, but not enough to keep them in it as the nade from Ragnarok blows him away, and Dopeness off the drop. Exit stage left with 2 elims, but that is a detriment to GK, John. Even if they reset, it's only a duo.
Yeah, they do win the fight, sure. There was that third party coming through from both as they wrapped around on that northern side. Tiamba now going to take up that mantle, but this is what you have to be afraid of on these hot drops. They no longer have cryo when it comes to getting out to the west. And on a hardship like this, they have lost too much time for me to really be considering them deeply into the rest of this match. Everybody else much faster, and we are going to focus our attention now on teams making that break out west. A lot of teams coating the west side coast and the south edge as well, near Ferry Pier, around Quarry. Yangon Galacticos very much the back of the queue.
Yangon keeps good energy rolling for that roster over the course of today's playdate. A lot of eyes on them. Our 2 reigning champions in the lobby, of course, being Yangon Galacticos, and then behind that, Alpha 7 from the year prior, back in 2024's EWC.
Circle. Oh, no way!
What are we doing?
What is going on? Goodness me, a massive western shift on this zone. It is brutal. Quarry is so impactful here as well. It's such a quagmire of a position. It just sticks you down. You can't really move freely around it. So for Ulf, they may be able to take the ridgeline, but getting down future may be difficult. I don't think too many teams are going to be able to play around Quarry, and this is going to get nasty. The positions out on the west are difficult to hold, and for Arena, they need to regroup. For Wolves, they need to try and stay alive, and 7-2-1 are going to try and crash on in. Everybody on the south edge being funneled around that Quarry location. Oh, Jackie, this is going to get very dirty.
There's something in the air at this event. I don't know what happened this year, John, but the circles we've had have resulted in some ridiculous games the whole way through, from start to finish. It's never easy. Feels like we're playing with 50% land in every single game. Half of it's always taken up by the water. Hey ho, we go again. Teams instantly crunching down, knowing it's only going to get harder to get into a safe location in the zone the longer they leave this one.
Yangon Galacticos just about making it past Quarry. Ulf actually went straight past Quarry, and they're now very central on this zone, Jackie. They're looking to play out to the west side of the road, towards that coastline, nestling themselves in and looking to maybe play a 2-2 split. Yangon Galacticos happy to post up around those Quarry warehouses for the time being. Maybe move on a little bit further because you've got AGAL moving in behind them. Furia, in the meantime, trying to get out of Primorsk, playing in from that south edge. I like this this move coming through from Igor. Moving one of their players around the headland gives them a little bit more latitude when it comes to having to move later on, and that really is the plan for the scout out on the west.
The thing is, for some of our teams as well, this accelerates the way you have to play this one. I think a Go team, they usually like those very long, safe rotates, where they want to be inside blue, taking their opportunity to build into a great late game finish. Here, you can't really play that style. Have to take a few shots onto Fury as they catch line of sight on the road. This is going to be Go team's POV. Elevated angle, Killer Joe getting swarmed on as well. The AGAL Killer Bees on the move as they head down towards the road, looking to cut round go and get themselves into a better position. Doesn't get any easier though. The Wolves just up ahead.
And Ulf as well, looking to try and stymie that approach from the south side. AGAL on the side of a road, looking to maybe control the shot. Aaron's already in occupation. Catch needs to line him up, and Aaron takes a lot of damage there. Far too much for my liking. Has to fold back, and that gives AGAL a chance. Catch now in danger as AGAL continue their pursuit to move on forwards. Somehow they're making this march, and I'm surprised that they've been able to get this far, Jackie. Next circle, is it going to be similarly brutal? It goes coastal side, maybe less brutal, but even so, it's nasty.
Still punishing stuff. Cutting out that landmass. Team standing with each other, shoulder to shoulder in the zone. In AGAL, you're right, man. Barely tucked in behind the ticket booth, found themselves a few moments of brief respite to catch their breath. The Amber as well. They're here, they're catching line of sight of this. Few pod shots being fired towards their general direction. Really free squads that are even outside of the zone right now. And Nongshin Red Force down to Primals, but wrap up from Furia close by, and then Geeke coming in down from the north side late.
This RRQ position, really important. The hill that sits towards the coastline, you can see the high ground that they're able to control. Ulf trying to move into the foothills around it, but AGAL are peppering them. Apparently Aaron is in nade range there. That's a long arm on that one. Looks to try and find some more,
but he's already crawling away, falling back to the rest of the roster. For RRQ, this is great, but they need to start
leveraging it for Eland. I think that's Aaron down and out. I think it may well be, but Furia and Nongshin Red Force in the meantime, all on the south side, coming to loggerheads, and nobody's looking happy with this. Furia on 2 players and Nongshin left on just 1, Jackie.
Yeah, this is rough, man. No one's getting out of this with a smile on their face unless they can completely recover now. Thankfully, the last shot goes through pretty heavy-handedly to punish one more man from Nongshin, leaving it down to a solo. Fury are going to be attempting to get the recovery on the go. CXCY did bail out. Surprised he's still standing. Bullet after bullet being injected towards the vehicle. He just keeps driving.
Cheeky little seat swap there for XZY to stay alive, but where's he going? He might as well have pulled up on that shackle. Maybe he's going to pull up on a player from AGAL. It's not going to work out, though. Okay, a little bit wild, but not really too many options left for him. If he'd have stopped maybe a touch earlier, he could have had the hop out, grab some of those shots, but wasn't quite there with it, not quite slick enough. And AGAL, with a little bit of a danger approaching them, able to hold their nerve.
Elimination delivery on that one. Drove in, double-checked the code, gave it to him. DRX as well, hillside peek over. Trey trying to get a read on things. Alula back into the fight as well. Geeke taking the head-on approach towards Yangon with Alula amongst them, sandwiching them there. So they do go down. That's our 3rd and 4th position team off the back of our opening game of Rondo, already out of the running, so opportunities for some lapping to occur.
Geeke obviously the team that won Pmgc, but kind of lost as well in that first hot drop. We'll be keeping an eye on if that continues to happen for those 2 teams. And if Geeke continue to win it, if it does. But either way, they will slow themselves down, something awful. A lot of casualties in the middle of this zone, and rightly so. It keeps the coastline in here, and again, RRQ's position on that western side, on that hill, gets stronger and stronger, as well as the compound for E-Arena on that west side too. Those buildings, I'm imagining Fury is going to be crashing into them. Either that, or they try and sweep around behind RRQ's hill and take control of that area of the map.
Could be a game-changing play. Establish a nice area of control for yourselves, force them out. Starting to get a bit excited in the crowd now as well. Energy building up here in Paris going into game 2. Foobsman with the quick repairs. He's certified for this one. Let's go team with all 4 players still alive right now. Another wraparound potentially for KRX as well. Bit of a split there between Trey and Binny as they've broken off from one another.
Alpha 7 on the northwest side with 3 players alive on the beachhead. Binny, he's going to start to tick away from the blue, from the water. You need breath, you need health bar, and neither's going to go your way. Down he goes, leaving only the 1 player now left standing for them. over on the northeast side near the backstop for GOAT. Furia, instead of going towards the zone, looks like maybe they want to try and take care of GOAT team first, or at least scout it out. They wrap back around fairly quickly, though, as the last player from Kiwoom, DRX, goes down.
Yeah, Pmgc finds that one. We saw the other player, of course, denying it out to the blue, not wanting to give the points over to Furia, so that is where their story ends in game 2. Killer Joe, off-angle peek from the sideline. The attention of Furia was all on Moxie. Joe was able to take the first bit of damage with ease. Silence replies, though. Shuts down Fuchs, leaves him on his last legs. Good name play from Moxie. Shushes Silence. If this is on target, could be very lethal. Trying to get it over the hillside onto the close grouping. A trio of Furia players with one man in the vehicle scouting. Chief on the push back over. Ayala really looking rough here, John.
Yeah, the off angle from Arena is chiming in as well, and another nade sent over the top. It's big boom after big boom coming through from GOAT team. And now it's just Ayala on the forefront. On the back line, it's Igor, who needs to come up big here against GOAT team, but they can't push forwards because of that Arena off angle, which is slowing this fight down really annoyingly for GOAT team. The advantage, though, is that they can start to use this time to maybe find a foothold into the zone, because the blue zone is upon them, and you can't res in stage 4. You need to get this one done as fast as you can. Silence may not be able to get back up here.
They knew there was the rock up from the back line when Elementrix got the takedown on GOAT team, so they've read that, reassessed and wrapped off, like you say, and they've gone straight into the awaiting arms of Tianba. Terrifying Tianba today. They've changed their fate. A few more elims racked up. That puts them on 2 so far.
Now they're encroaching towards AGAL, both from the same region, and there's the crash from Eagle on the shack. They know there's a player in here. They need to try and keep safe, but it's not going super well for everyone. Tianba able to stay alive on the inside, but losing one on the out, and Liu gets some retribution. AGAL now playing on us 2 in the center of the circle as it shrinks right on top of them. Holding this position would be great, but there's so many angles now staring you down.
Oh, nades are good as well. Primes that one, gets it right on target. Goodbye, AGAL. They go down to the nitro they've been given to breakfast. And this is where it gets far more scary as well. Alula, low on HP with a bit of a split on the setup. Yangon Galacticos pushing in as a roster. Coming in together, struggling on contact with one player buckling under the pressure, and Wolves, they smell the opportunity to steal some of these elims. Nade arced over, Elementrix dives out, Romeo will fall, can't withstand that.
Oh, but there is an answer from Smile to find a knock over onto a Wolves player, leaving Aola potentially to be able to... No, I don't think they can get this res with the blue zone coming on in now. Doesn't quite have the time to get the crawl back. Would be a miracle to get that back to 2. So for Aola, it may be drawing short here. In the meantime, the Wolves have got GOAT team pushing in behind them. Wolves felt that they were third-partying it, but they've been fourth-partied necessary. Can't quite do what he needed to, as Force goes in with the shotgun trade. Elementrix, though, still on the swivel for Wolves. Doing work, but Killer Joe left to survive this one. Has another opportunity for the fight, but Elementrix is looking clean with it. Takes too much damage, though, and has to dip back.
Killer Joe thrives in these sort of encounters, John, where he does his best work. He's able to really nail that one with the UMP. Get the quick pick up, looking for the revive on Force as well, so they can fight on as a duo. Turney K.
Oh, he's got
the angle, John.
He doesn't quite get the peak fully there, though. He's a little bit too timid, and that's going to allow the res to come through from GOAT team. Turney K can still play spoiler to it. He sees them 2 on the broadside now.
He's going to know exactly where they are. And he can step forward
For it. Force, I think, might know as well. Killer Joe into the buggy. He's rolling forward. They're going to have to play against this. But Turney K gets back, and the Arena don't want to overcommit.
Jumps back in the vehicle, puts the pedal to the metal and pieces out for now, whilst Force continues to hit heavy. Quick, not fast enough for Alula's escape plan. There's only one man remains. Claws cruising over into the awaiting arms of Ulf. They've seen him coming. And if he keeps going, it'll be RRQ that will have this one set up on a platter. Back exposed, easy tags, that's the takedown.
Should have gone that way a little bit earlier. RRQ retreating to the beach side, have given up control over a lot of this hill. It was under pressure, but I feel like you do need to start to think about stepping forwards now. The difficulty with that is, of course, Furia's position on the south edge. They do need to keep control of that, which is why they've invested so much in terms of moving there. But that opens opportunities for Alpha 7 on the north side to start to be a major player in this circle, because they've been quite quiet up until now. Moving down south, they get a lot more control and maybe sneak in behind RRQ, or rather in front of them now.
Furia, it's not been easy for them for the positions they've been forced into. Still standing as a trio after losing silence quite some time ago from that engagement over the top. It was Fuchs that took him out. Made onto the vehicles. RRQ not overcommitting for this, wrapping off with the zone shifting in as well, crunching further up towards the mainland.
I mean, that's where I wanted RRQ to be looking to play. They kind of probably did want to play that already, but you can see that Furia would have had some pretty solid angles on this. Irina may as well been able to chime in depending on exactly where you're playing it. But Irina gonna have to move, Furia gonna have to move. And the crunch in on the east side, I think, is going to be pretty tricky. Irina looks like they were willing to go for those wraparounds, go quite wide with things. So potential for them to actually move into this west side engagement, but they may just look to push up towards Yamba and towards Go, as RRQ look to regroup further north. Fence off the area from Alpha 7. Lose the sub coming in for Alpha 7 will be the play to hold, and he's on the vehicle spot, looking to control it. Doesn't quite tag with the first shotgun, but there is the top of the hill coming on to play.
They focus all their fire on him. He's able to withstand the pressure and get back up from the rest of the boys as Alpha 7 start to thrive off the noise being made by the fans in the arena. RRQ detonating the vehicle to shut down the super sub for the side. What can the rest of the roster get up to here? Bullets being peppered towards them. Amongst all this, 721 GRS struck upon by Ulf as they go in heavy with the shotguns. Ravo just drives into the middle of it all. Let's go crazy, John.
How on earth does he dodge all of those rounds on the outside? And Korea with the seat swap looks for more, but Alpha 7 fall at the final hurdle. Revo looked immaterial crossing that open beach, but it was not to be, and now Furia can roll on in, happy as Larry, to go for the fight. Irina wants to try and crunch it behind this too, and they are doing just that.
Names on target, good damage. Furia, they've had to play defensive for so long now. We're seeing that aggression come out, cutthroat play so far. Wrap around the back, the nade look good, but a bare bounce over the top side, and they'll get it done with the rounds instead. RRQ 4.
Down they go. Furia looking to piece themselves back together. Irina maybe a little bit too slow to jump on the back lines for Furia as they've established themselves. Ulf as well, looking to challenge. Over on the northern side, obviously diminished in power with only 2 of their players alive, but still a force to be reckoned with. Kelsey and Scarface have got some solid positions to play around. Irina on the south border, I think they're the team to beat here, Jackie. It feels like on this south side, they have got control. They've got a lot of what they need, and Furia is committing towards the north side.
Energy building up. A lot of fans in the house today. You can see all the Yangon Galacticos signs, John, the Alpha 7 fans bringing the heat once again as well, but they've got one thing in common right now. Neither squad remains alive, currently in game 2, out of the contest here. A lot of different sides that are looking to really squeeze, a good injection to point out of this for Tianba as well, thinking about the potential of a ludicrous start to the day if they can do the unthinkable.
I mean, they've already gotten 5 elims and gotten up to a 5th place. This is a good game regardless for Tianba. They're going to be happy with this performance. Next zone coming on through. Shrink's pretty dead center. Don't think there's too much to worry about for the arena for Tianba and Furia. But for Go Team, I think this is going to be their big test, right? They are just playing on this one tree. They've got some vehicles in the back lines, sure, but they have to move. And where do you go? Where do you go? It might just have to be a crazy wide sweep up to the north, but Tianba are going to light you up. The arena are going to light you up. You need a pick. You need an opening. I just don't see Go Team moving forwards.
Enggak, 11. 27.
Yeah, it's not been the easiest approach. He's done so. They've crunched so much space, so much map control away. Nowhere near as easy now, John.
They know Milu's position. The nade they've been able to push forwards. Ayala creeping up to the ridgeline as well, and the arena actually going to regress on their hold, not wanting to stay overextended or maybe move those vehicles in different ways, swap them out, something like that. But
just like giving that ground there was an interesting decision, but they get it back very, very quickly. Furia don't try and push over the top on it. Still waiting for this one to get forced by the circle. You can see Chief will get moved. Igor as well has to leave his little ridge and step up probably towards that burnt out buggy. That's where he's pacing himself towards. Ayala cannot find an angle.
For love nor money right now. No chance to get a raw free peek onto them. Just looking to cast that first stone, open it up with an advantage. The first domino falling for either of these squads will be very detrimental, obviously, for E-Arena. That big benefit you have as well in the trade game. They've got one extra man in the squad. Takes a little bit more pressure off them, but they still need a clean fight. Pin from either side, it wouldn't really change much.
Next stage closes dead central on this, and no one really has the full inside track, but E-Arena have the most ability to move around. If Furia go down, Tiamba can start to move. That might give them a little opening door. Furia now moving much closer towards the arena, and the nades are going to start to cause problems for Mormon. The Molotov's there as well, but he has the...
Stereo nades got out either side. It felt like one bullet away from him falling. Topped himself back up, like you say. He's quick with the meds. Fury are debating where they really need to engage on this. Is it easier to try and wrap around onto Tiamba's side? Do they just have to hold in the middle, wait for the crunch to come towards them? They're going to go in the direction of Tiamba. Ayala, thought maybe they were a little bit closer than they are. Had the DBS primed. Scouting play as well. They're losing a lot of space from this peak up from E-Arena, starting to force them further back. It's getting scary out there.
Final zone closing as well now, Jackie. It's straight into the middle. Can't hang about now. No elims for E-Arena. So they would love to try and sweep a couple of these up. Over the top of the hill, they're looking to put a pressure onto Furia, but they fight back. Eco goes 1-for-1 on the trade, which is not great news for them. But where are Tiamba? Can they make a pass at this? Try and move in behind Furia. I think they might be going for it. They've heard this fight break out. They've seen the knocks come through, and the backlines from E-Arena getting a little bit false-footed as Tiamba make their play.
Tiamba, triple threat of nades thrown over the top. Erupting explosions towards Furia's angle after knowing they're weak. But they're still not overly committing. You're being hit from all sides as well. They're going slightly too far deep. That one looks good. Great chip damage onto Furia. Chief with a reply. Mormon's drop. Joker hits the headshot back onto him. It's a 1-for-1 stalemate. Tiamba still waiting.
Finally, a second knock, and now Furia on one. Tiamba Igor the last to go, and they wrap around, they roll it down. QZ wants to shut it out in the arena now. The last hurdle for Tiamba's back-to-back. 3 players versus 2. Joker of
Smoke dealt with immediately. QZ relies on his teammates. He turns for a moment, but he knows they've got his back, and in a 1 versus 3, can he make it work? More